We on?
Yes.
Good afternoon, morning or evening, depending on where you are. Just a fairly quick heads up. We've got a conference coming up this weekend.
Yes.
Evan's going to put some promos up for it. A little bit different this one. Normally we ask one person to come along and have a chat. We've done this in reverse, haven't we, mate?
Yep.
We've got Paul Anthony Wallace, Dr. Charles Cos, and Alexander from Poland, whose second name I don't want to say because I'll only ruin it. And pretty sure you wouldn't get it right either, would you, Evan, or not?
Probably not, so sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, Alexander, but what we're going to do is we decided that we put the group together, that's ourselves and Evan plus those three, and we just have a roundtable conference and to talk about one thing. The real history and how much of it's been changed and how much it's been rearranged and how much it's been hidden. And we thought that would be something different to have different people come at it from different angles, and they might come up with attitudes and ideas and observations that didn't dawn upon us. And one that comes to mind immediately is we did about 2 hours on this, didn't we, Evan?
Yeah, just under 2 hours, actually.
Yeah. And I sort of realised we had quite a few things I wanted to talk about, and near the end I realised the most important one we have very little time from, which was the alien involvement. So we did that very quickly, but Alexander came up with something that I never thought of, and I don't think you did either, have you? We're talking about proof that aliens were here. And as you probably know, we've got skulls that don't belong here. We've got metal objects that have got readouts that say they're not from this planet. In fact, they don't even know what they are. We've got rocks that have been marked in certain ways that tell stories about us on top. But what we had not included in any of our discussion of alien artifacts was ayahuasca, had we? That hadn't dawned on us. And what Alexander said, and it was quite intelligent, was that he said, we're looking for things that are material things, but we forget that the most important part of the reason why aliens came here was to help us and improve us as individuals and people. And he believed that ayahuasca was proof of that, because as he pointed out quite correctly, there are 5 or 6 different things that have to be put in. Some have got to be cooked in certain ways, haven't they, Evan? And if everything isn't done in the right order, nothing works. And his point was, how do we know the order? What, did someone sit around the campfire in the rainforest in South America and said, well, let's cook that thing up. I don't know what it is, but we'll chuck it in there.
Put that one in. It's not like there are like 3 or 4 plants in the Amazon and that's it.
It's quite a detailed creation to make this. And he said, well, how did we stumble upon this and why? I mean, you would think, oh, yes, I can see Alexander's second name, and I'm not even going to try that one, Evan. Chris
Kusk.
Interesting individual, even though we can't say his last name, because when he was in his teens, around 15 and 16, he was writing stuff like this and thinking like this. And I remember when I was 15 and 16, what I was doing wasn't that, I can assure you. So what we've got is we're going to do a little bit of a presentation on the real history in Australia. And we might focus a little bit on the Spanish, not the Spanish Inquisition, not like Monty Python, but the fact that the Spanish discovered Australia. Well, discovered's an interesting word.
Bumped into
Australia 250 years before the British. And I can tell you there were times in Australia when this truth was a major issue and basically split a lot of Australia. And I'm talking about 1910, 1915, around that period of time, there was a lot of talk about the fact that Cook wasn't first. And we'll go over that. We'll look at that one in some detail, because the whole point of this exercise is, as Winston Churchill said, if a country does not know its past, it doesn't have a future. Well, our argument is the whole world doesn't know its past. And if it doesn't know its past, how can it have a future? And at the moment, we don't have one. We just stagger along. So we've got that turning up. We're gonna do a presentation. What I will also do is some of the things that were raised in this particular talk, I'm going to raise with Mesref and get him to make a comment, to either agree, disagree, or what he normally does. Yes, that's correct, but that's normally what we get out of him.
So I've actually got a couple of clips from the weekend I can play right now, actually, just to give you a bit of a taster.
Oh, okay.
So this one's about Plato and Atlantis.
Well, actually, it's not really him describing it, is it? Would you like to sort of fill that in a bit, Paul, exactly how that came about? And I think it's mainly in Timaeus and Critias. I don't think I've got that right.
Yes, yes, that's
it's
right.
In there, isn't it? Yeah.
It is in Timaeus and Critias where he talks about Atlantis. And I think a lot of people who have only sort of heard about this casually think, oh, Atlantis, that's a myth that Plato's sharing, or that's some kind of utopia that he's describing, and it's a device really for him to make some points and teach about politics and philosophy. And that's not the case at all. He does that in another book, in the Republic. That's not the function of Atlantis as well. When he talks about Atlantis,
We've got quite a few of them, and we'll put a couple of them up over the next couple of days.
I already have.
Oh, okay, yeah. Look, I do, and as usual, you've got the freedom to watch some of this at one stage, and then watch some more. We leave it free for a few days, don't we?
Yeah, about a week.
About a week, so you don't have to rush in to watch it all at once. And for a lot of people, they don't have all that time on a Sunday afternoon. We do get quite a few thousand people who watch, and we're probably lucky to get 100 when we're doing it at that time, aren't we?
Yeah. So, and we might also mention we've got 2 new books floating around, so we'll talk a bit about them on the week.
Oh yeah, we will
towards the end of the talk. So
we certainly will be talking
ones.
about 2 of our 2 new books that will be taking up part of our time when we're talking.
Exactly.
We'll go into some detail with that.
We've been busy.
Yeah, and we'll go over a little bit of Spanish stuff, and I've got another article I'm supposed to be writing at the moment.
I'm thinking I might talk about how some of the Portuguese words are in original languages up in the Northern Territory and WA. So there's a few things like that.
Yeah, we'll chuck that in. Yeah, so look, ladies and gentlemen, come and join us, and if you can't join us then, come and join us later. What you will hear about is what really did happen, not what people want you to believe happened, because they're not the same thing. And I remember a couple of days ago we had a film crew here that were talking to us about what we had, and they couldn't understand why the government hadn't embraced all of the information and all the facts that we found.
They've done the opposite.
They've done the opposite. They've made it clear to everyone we're not allowed to talk about us in any shape or form, and they couldn't work out why. It didn't dawn on them that the reason this is not it's not a conspiracy theory as such, and I want to make a point about this. A lot of people have said that we're saying it's a conspiracy theory. They all got round together, all the cabal, and decided to hide the history of the past. We don't believe that. We believe that what happened was that when Atlantis blew up and that explosion affected the whole world, and we know that's the case. We call it the Younger Dryas. It's around 12,000 years ago. And all of the archaeologists will tell you around about 90 to 95% of the population of humans disappeared, died is the right word, not disappeared. They didn't walk off and hide behind a tree, did they? They got deaded. And they were all dead because something happened. Now, what the big problem has always been with this is they've made this point, something happened. And they try and claim that it was actually a meteor strike. But the problem is they don't have a crater anywhere. So they've now come up with a new idea, which you don't know about. It's just come up. I read it quite recently.
Oh, okay.
It was like Tunguska. It was a meteor strike that blew up before it hit the ground.
Oh, in the atmosphere.
In the atmosphere.
Yeah, in the sky.
Yeah, that's what happened. They did it there. And what's interesting is if you look for damage, and there is some, you can find areas of that. It's all around the Atlantic Ocean. It's on America's side. It's on Europe's side. But you come down to Australia, you've got nothing. And of course, that raises the question, Evan. that ocean, we've got the Pacific Ocean, which means peaceful, right?
Mhm.
Why did they call the Atlantic Ocean the Atlantic Ocean? Because it comes from the word Atlantis.
Mm.
Why would you name something over something that doesn't exist?
See, my assumption is that
Yeah.
you name something like that because it was there, or there's an association with it.
Well, that might explain why when they named their space shuttles, they gave them two names, Challenger and, do you know what the other one was? Atlantis.
Mm.
Why didn't they call it Mickey Mouse? If it's a fictional character, like
Yeah.
we've been told it is, why not name it after Mickey Mouse, who's also fictional? They should have called the space shuttle Mickey Mouse. Might have been a good description, to be honest. But the point I want to make there, ladies and gentlemen, why is it the second largest station on the planet is named after Atlantis, and why is one of the two space shuttles named after Atlantis, but it doesn't exist?
Mm.
Well, it does. It does exist. And we want to talk about that, and we talk about quite a few other things in the past that have been misconstrued or just basically lied about, and try to work out what is the real civilization. So come and join us, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't then watch some of it then and then watch some of it later. It's up to you when you want to watch it. It's chapter 40.
We've done 40 of these bad boys.
Yeah,
Just think about that.
And for anyone that's thinking, well, I wouldn't mind seeing the others, if once you've seen a couple of them, well, you can. But to do that, you have to become, what's the word, Evan?
A member,
Yeah.
a subscriber. So yeah, we're just I'm almost finished that. We're just me and Leah have been working hard on that.
Right, okay.
Creating the archives, recreating the archives. We've had some technical difficulties.
Did we? Oh, yes.
Yes. So,
I do want to apologise before we go, ladies and gentlemen. Evan got another warning from the Facebook crew. He did something very naughty, and I'd like to apologise now so we don't get
which
any more
one was this one?
This is where you put up an article, a meeting between two very bad people.
Oh, that.
You did a meeting between
was-
Graham Hancock and Keanu Reeves,
yeah.
where they were talking to each other, and because you put that up, you were told that you offended community standards, didn't you?
Several community standards.
Several. Not one,
No.
but quite a few.
Mind you, I shared it from my Facebook post.
Yeah,
That was already existing,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It wasn't like I got an outside article and put it in. What I did was I reshared a post on Facebook,
Yeah.
put it in my own groups.
And our group obviously were very upset and complained to Facebook.
No, because that's the kind of thing that is relevant for my
And
group.
what did Graham and Keno talk about? Did they want to destroy the world and blow it up? Is that what they were talking about?
No, they weren't talking about that.
Oh, well, they obviously did a lot of things that were wrong because they convened many community standards.
I'm looking for. I've got a picture of them together somewhere.
Well, don't put it up again. We'll get another bloody complaint. It'll be our sixth one. Don't keep on offending community standards by having two people talk about things, obviously, that were bad. Don't look for it. I know he's trying to find it now, and if he puts it up, we might be thrown off Facebook. We must be close.
What's this?
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Evan will apologise for this on the day for offending the community stand
of Meta.
And if any of you people are of the community and you were offended, please let us know so that Evan can give you a personal apology for putting up those two radical beings. Keno Rose, what does he go around doing? Doesn't he go around giving money to poor people?
All sorts of things.
Well, that's against community standards, isn't it? I'm sure that one is. You don't look after the poor, let them suffer and don't help them. That's been part of the way the community works. Already I can see what you've done wrong. We don't do those sort of things.
Well, and I do like to share memes around like this. So.
History in school, yeah. And history is a leap. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go for now. Come and join us on the Sunday. We'll be around for a while. Couple of hours. We'll let the whole thing run. We'll let the 2 hours go.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's really it just flows so well, and I feel like this is going to be the start of many that we can do several more roundtables.
Well,
this was good. This was a good start.
Yeah, good start. And Uncle Donnie, g'day. Nice to see you as always, mate. It's a pleasure for you to be here, and obviously, when we do some more talks around the countryside, I'm going to try and get you involved in one of those too and talk about those wonderful beings, the Yowies, who have been basically knocking on our doorsteps again. They're backing around. All right, for now, ladies and gentlemen,
All
we'll
right.
say goodbye and
See you in a few days.
see you in a few
basically.
days. Yep.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.